Hello and welcome to 360 Self Love. I am your host, Vilma Lisbowski, and I am so excited that you are here today. Today, we're going to be talking about freedom. This is a concept that I personally have been reflecting on a lot lately. For one, I discovered that freedom means something different to everyone. So, before we get started, I want to invite you to reflect on what freedom actually means to you. Personally, I've learned that our definition of freedom changes and it evolves over time. We may seek different types or aspects of freedom during different seasons of our lives. When most people think of freedom, they're thinking about freedom of time, freedom of schedule, freedom of money, or freedom to work for themselves instead of working for someone else, freedom to move at their own pace or move throughout their days at their own pace. And that is what I call external freedom. A lot of us start here. Before creating VV Method, I was living in New York City and working for a corporate gym during the day and going to school for fashion design at night and on the weekends. A few months after moving to New York City, just right before I started school, my mom got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so that first year of me living in New York and going to school, not only were my days incredibly busy and filled with stimulation, but I started grieving my mom. I started grieving her health and the lively woman that she was before she got ill. Needless to say, there was a lot happening for me in my internal and external world at the time. Fast forward to after her passing in November of 2017, I was still in the process of finishing school. And just a little bit after her passing, I decided to create a silk scarf brand dedicated to her. This was my first official business, and it was my way to honor my mother's life and the other women I was close to at the time. It was actually really cute. I only had a certain amount of scarves, and every scarf was named after every woman, and it had its unique look, and it came with a little card that shared about the woman and her personality. I had so much fun building this business, and I have to say, it was incredibly profitable thanks to all the friends and family who supported my work and purchased scarves at the time. So, not too soon after, or maybe even during the development of this business, I decided to do a couple of internships in the fashion industry. And oh my Lord, did I hate them. Not the businesses themselves, but the industry and the way it worked, the way I saw these designers and the people working for these brands sacrifice their well being. And no judgment, it just wasn't for me. As much as I loved fashion and being creative, what became really clear to me during these internships is that I didn't want to sacrifice my health for the sake of making cool clothes. This was highly influenced after losing my mom. Losing her sobered me up, so to speak. It shifted my values and put what I thought was important under a completely different filter. My mom worked constantly. She sacrificed her well being working 2 to 3 jobs so that she could offer me and my brothers a better future. For over 20 years while living in the US, she worked nonstop. I am forever grateful to her for what she did for us, but I knew that I didn't want this for myself, and that seemed to be what the fashion industry was asking of me. So I made the decision to finish school, but not pursue fashion after all. At the time, I was in my early 30s, maybe around 32 years old. I knew that if I was going to stay in the fitness industry, it had to be on my terms. So I made the firm decision that I was going to start my own business. I wanted freedom of my schedule. I wanted freedom of starting my mornings my own way. I wanted to prioritize my health. I wanted freedom to travel, freedom to choose how I went about my days, and freedom to make more money so I could have a better quality life. At the time, I was barely making maybe $20,000 a year, or just a little bit under $20,000 a year. Sometimes clarity isn't about discovering what to do, but about discovering what no longer fits. At first, I didn't know what type of business I wanted to build, so I contemplated maybe building a brick and mortar studio or simply just building my clientele on the side and teaching in studios in New York City, which I did start doing at the time. I remember that I wanted to travel the world and it felt like it was time to pursue that dream. So that became my compass. I knew that if I wanted to travel the world, I had to build a business that gave me the flexibility to do that. So I decided to build an online fitness business. This is before fitness online businesses were popular. Back in 2018, when I made this decision, I realized that that meant I was going to have to take a bigger risk than I ever had before. I was going to build something that I had no proof of concept of myself, but I had witnessed the success of others, so I knew it was possible. Sometimes freedom requires betting on yourself before there's evidence that it'll work. And so this is when I decided to build BB Method. In 2018, I started playing with the concept, and this is when I started experimenting with combining Pilates, weights, and cardio. I would experiment with my own workouts or within my own workouts, and I started testing them on my clients. I had great feedback from them, so I decided that it was something that if people were loving and it was giving them results, I could film and put the videos and create an online business. During the years of 2018 and 2019, I was still working during the day and going to school at night and on weekends, working on finishing my degree. So when I had free time during either the commute from home to work or from work to school and from school back home, I studied how to build an online business. I read books, I listened to podcasts, I took courses. Some of these were free and some others I decided that they were worth paying for because it would help me get to the next level. I didn't have the money for these courses, so I figured out how to pay them and put them on a credit card, which I just decided I would figure out how to pay for later. At the end of 2019, I started recording the workout videos, and at first, it was not pretty. It was actually quite a bit of a struggle. I didn't know how to teach online. I had only taught group classes in studios and one-on-ones in studios, so my experience, what I had learned, didn't really teach me to teach for online videos. It was completely different than what I had done so far. So at first, I was pretty bad at it, but I still went for it, and I still trusted myself through that process. I allowed myself to not be perfect. After several tries, I finally came up with the first 8 to 10 maybe workouts that I decided that were going to be how I was going to launch my website or my platform. And these stayed on a hard drive for months. I decided that it was going to take time, so I decided to maybe start learning how to build a website and eventually put it out into the world. I started working on it very slowly. So I got my domain, I did the photo shoot, I did all the things. And then COVID happened, and it forced me to move at a faster pace than I was ready to. But I didn't think about it twice. I just went for it. I thought myself how to build a website during that process. This was during the first few months of COVID, so I would sit in front of my computer from the first thing in the morning at 7 a.m. teaching clients to the end of the day at 10 p.m. I would teach live classes, online group classes. I would teach one-on-ones, and when I had free time in between, I was building my business on the side. I had no financial backing of any sort. So all the money I made from clients, I used to survive and put towards the business. Within a few months, maybe sometime in March or April of 2020, I finally launched my BB Method platform. It was just simply a platform. It wasn't an app yet since I couldn't afford an app, but had to start somewhere, right? So this is where I started. I was so proud of it. It was only like maybe 8 to 10 videos, and it was incredibly humbling. It was quite amateurish, if you will, but looking back now, I am even more proud now than I was back then. That was the beginning of BB Method, and it just grew from there. It was all right timing, even without me knowing what was going to happen in 2020. I somehow was prepared because I made a decision about what was aligned with the type of life that I wanted for myself. I made it my mission to attain external freedom, and it was very freeing indeed. It gave me flexibility, autonomy, giving my health back, purpose, fulfillment, impact. External freedom is a beautiful thing. You are the designer of your life. Your choices today, everything that you do and choose not to do, will inevitably define your future. Many people may think that I got lucky, but did I, or was I prepared? I worked my ass off to build that level of freedom, and I still do. After a few years of having VV Method, I began to feel like something was kind of needing to shift within my life. I had pursued this business to attain all kinds of freedom while I had achieved the flexibility in my schedule that allowed me to take care of my health and move at my own pace. The one thing I hadn't had the chance to do yet was travel the world the way I originally wanted to travel. This is when my partner Leah and I decided to give up our steady home lifestyle and put all our things in storage unit and decided to become nomads. This was maybe June of 2023. So the thing that I wanted since before COVID started, and one of the main reasons why I decided that I wanted my own business in the first place, finally came to life. It took time, but there I was. I had 10x my life and career within just 3 years. The year before building VV Method, I had made maybe $18,000. And the year I created VV Method, year one of VV Method, I made over $100,000. I'm not telling you this to brag nor to vouch for hard work, though it will definitely require hard work at first, but more importantly, here's what I want to remind you of. Hard work takes on a different form when what you're doing or the thing that you're doing is aligned with what you want. It becomes more joyful, more creative, and it gets to even be playful. Building VV Method was so much fun for me because I love the process. I love the industry. It was in alignment with my values, and it reflected who I was and what I wanted in my life at that time. It doesn't mean that it was perfect or easy, but when what we choose to do honors who you are in that moment, when it is aligned with your values and what you want for your life, then everything else falls into place. Trust the process, trust in divine timing, and trust a higher power to support you in your unique journey. The other thing I want to remind you of is that you get to evolve. As you evolve, your dreams and wants will evolve with you. The way you define freedom will shift as you shift. There is no right or wrong way to do this. At this moment of your life, you may be in a journey of pursuing external freedom. Beautiful. Go for it. There will be other times where you will need to focus more on a different kind of freedom, which I personally call internal freedom. I will be sharing more about what this type of freedom looks like in my next solo episode. But for now, I want to leave you with this. What once was the right fit in your life may no longer be in alignment, and that is okay. You get to choose. You get to change your mind. You will evolve, and your dreams and goals will evolve with you. Regardless of your age or how much success you have had, it doesn't matter. You will evolve, and the way you perceive freedom will evolve. And no matter what, make sure that the external freedom you may be seeking is in alignment with your values and the life that you actually want. Sometimes we seek external freedom based on a conditioned version of ourselves that isn't truly us and end up building a life that is not in alignment with our true selves. But you are the designer. You are in charge. And the best way to know whether a certain path is for you or not is by getting clear on your values and then just going for it. You'll only know if you try. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this episode insightful and inspiring. I'm wishing you a peaceful, joyful, and creative day. Until next time.